Well, Larry was calling me. Well, I called Larry earlier, and then he was telling me that apparently my boys were hunting last night. And then he's like, "What are we on when we're the ones who shot and shit like that?" Then he said, "You guys weren't rolling out." So I told my boys, "Let's not make this awkward and start rolling out for no reason, and we look stupid." So they stopped rolling out, and then I came by here just to make Larry panic a little bit. Then it looks like a good time for a conversation instead. So, and I was gonna call him and tell him that I was about to go to the island and play pirates and rob everybody that's gold panning.
Honestly, I think going to war over about what 15 plants, shooting each other up for about what, possibly a week, up to a week. It just doesn't seem worth it in my mind. I think it all came down to listen, if you find plants in wherever. Me, it's finders keepers, you know, take that shit. I think the disrespect came from calling and telling us that you took it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The first half of Draco's apology yesterday, I know that it kind of sounded fucking waffled a little bit, but he meant what he said about the second part. Because I don't need to hide this fact. I told him that was dumb shit. And if he was not gonna apologize for that, I would apologize for it, because that's not the way I want to operate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all down for robbing the biggest, the baddest. I don't really give a shit anymore. But you know, I don't need to call you and rub it in your face just because it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if I knew, if I was there, and naturally the boys also offered it, but I think the phone call kind of made everything a little bit fucked up, and it just came off as cocky. But the fact that they wanted to give back the weed, and frankly, if I knew that was jack shit, I'd instantly give it back, because you know, I don't want to take anything from the cookie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so proud of his little grow he had, you know.
But boys, I think the bigger thing is, I don't know how things are gonna move forward, bro. Like, I feel like, you know, I think we naturally the kind of grooms that like big dick just because we exist. And I think it happens whether or not we like to admit it. But I fuck with everybody else here except for Julian. You know what I mean? Like, I actually like GG a lot. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's more of a me thing. And we brought this up last time, and Marty said the same shit. You know, just because some of y'all fuck with me doesn't mean you fuck with Seaside, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't want it to be like. I don't want this to be like a regular thing, man. I don't like it, you know. But at the same time, I don't know if we can fucking, you know, just dance around and sing Kumbaya and shit. I don't think that's possible.
Well, do you agree, Benji, that I feel like, especially both your gang and GG, and I feel like if we were to ever war, it should be over something more reasonable, not a couple of plants and a bit of ego taunt back and forth, right? I feel like it's just that's small gang behavior. You know, we're both superpowers. I think we should act like it. You know, it should have to make sense. And like you said about going forward, I think that all depends on how you and Marty interact from here on out. That's only time will tell, I guess, right?
No, I blame Marty, actually. Every time I say, let's go and chill, he goes and does something else. So maybe he doesn't actually want to chill with me. Maybe he hates me. Who knows?
He in his loner phase right now.
What the fuck is he in his loner phase? Then why the fuck does he tell me that he's awake for AU, then he goes alone?
Just stop taking days off, man. It's so simple.
That's part
what the fuck?
Stop taking days off,
He
Benji.
literally will text me, I'm awake, Benji.
That's
okay,
part of,
let's hang out. Then he fucking fucks
phase.
off.
You know, that's how he do it.
Stop taking days off, and none of this will ever happen.
Well, I'm about to go on holiday for another 5 days next week, so I'm sure we'll go to war again, guys. Ming, please end the war before I'm back.
Bro, I got a question though, right? You think any of this would have happened if it was somebody else that was negotiating than Draco? The way I kind of look at it, right? I feel like if I said, "Yo, Future, take it away," Future's like a fucking mirror copy of Draco. I feel like every time it's always going to turn out into like the worst way it possibly can.
Okay, I want to defend Draco a little bit here, okay? Draco has the natural press voice. He's the guy that you don't want to send to the first meeting where you're trying to be friendly.
It's not his voice though; it's his actions, right?
I know, and it's not just that though. It's the overall perception. You think that Draco was alone in that decision, but there's a lot of people that backed him for that decision. But if I were to tell you the reason why, you won't believe me anyway. But from Seaside's point of view, it was just KJ, Draco, and whoever was around just trying to have fun with like forehead and shit like that, and they think it's a fucking joke. Then I tell them, when you've got two groups that are powerful, these kind of jokes don't really work. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I think everybody's still trying to understand, because I think that's a straight up fact. Because, like, for example, right, when you were there in Seaside, Julian, when GG used to joke around a lot. Yeah. And you would bring up 100%. The same topics too. You know what I'm saying?
Next thing you know, I'm gonna wipe my ass with you.
We do these things, but it doesn't work because we're strong enough to retaliate, and you guys are strong enough to retaliate. And that's the problem. When these kind of jokes just don't fucking work. For me, it's like this kind of shit should be done to the guppy fish. You know what I mean?
Guppy.
Yeah, but yeah, Ming, to address that, it wasn't just Draco's call on that, you know, because that was KJ's watch, and I thought KJ was a fucking idiot too. Because the second this all popped off, KJ wanted to work with you guys instead. He said, you know, he didn't expect things to blow up the way it did. What the fuck? Oh, Jack?
Hello. Well, I mean, if it was like joking and shit, you know what I'm saying? Calling, you know, Ford up saying like, thanks for the dead drop. You know, he didn't even know what, you know, Britta was talking about.
Yeah, that's why after they realized that the joke was a bad joke, Gaspachi, they offered to give it back straight away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if it is joking stuff, you know, like, I think it would definitely need to be made a lot more clear, because, you know, I don't think
Wait, what was the joke?
Well, no, I'm saying, like, you know, Benji said it was like supposed to be, you know, more in that direction, you know, but it led in another one. Them taking your weed.
The stupid phone, not the weed. The weed they took on purpose. The taunting.
Yeah,
the taunting was stupid. Listen, you know, that's what they wanted it to be, and it was something where they thought it was going to be a small thing, but as I just said, when you're a big crew, you don't just take that lightly. That's the problem with that, because if somebody joked with us like that, and this is what I told them too, we'd be fucking shooting them and getting mad as well, right?
What was the reason for the phone call? Just to like joke about it?
Oh yeah, there is no logic behind that shit.
Because I don't know. In my mind, like, if I'm like, honestly, if I found your plans, I'd probably take that shit too. But I wouldn't call you.
But
was it the same thing? I would, you know, if somebody stole our shit, like, there's different ways of going about finding who took it. You know, go sit around the weed spot. You know, whoever's running your strain, snatch them up and
listen. I don't want to expand on that, because as I told you, there's no logic behind it. It was. Okay, how do you say this? It was innocent, but very stupid, and it should not have been done. Right. You know what I'm saying? Should not have been done.
But it wasn't like a KJ thing, right? It was really a Draco thing, the whole call?
No, it was a everybody thing.
Okay.
And it just didn't go as planned.
They're just being silly. That's it. Just being silly, in a silly mood. Shouldn't have been done. Julius, stop trying to push it to Draco, man. It's a group thing.
No,
it's not that, right? Why. I think it's just like, if anybody else made that phone call, it wouldn't have been. I feel like maybe it could have been taken as a joke. But again, it's like,
that's what I said.
Draco's
too.
like Draco's like the future.
I
If Future calls you up and jokes about something, you take it the wrong way. Just because
I agree.
The way he
I
talks.
told Draco he shouldn't even talking to some people in Seaside.
You would got it.
No, it's true. Because let's say, for example, we gotta punish somebody in Seaside. If we send Draco to punish you, you think you're gonna be blooded out the next day. Because that's just the vibe. And I'm not saying like he's scary that way. It's just you don't know if he's kidding or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to clarify, the reason why I was asking like the difference in like who Tadea was is because obviously, you know, JJ showed clear like disagreement with everything, right? To us, to you, to everybody, as I imagine. So I thought, hearing all that stuff, that KJ probably would have disagreed with something like that and just kind of held, had Draco's back and everything, because that's just how KJ is, right? He keeps his opinions to himself and he handles it in his own time behind closed doors. but on the streets, he'll back his boys, right? That's why I was curious because, I mean,
yeah,
I know
exactly.
if KJ, for example, called, it would have been entirely different, right? Because that'd be funny.
The whole thing about JJ not understanding shit, that was all sorted out already because he misunderstood the timeline of everything.
Yeah.
So after he understood the timeline, everybody was on the same page, and we all agreed that the biggest problem here is the stupid phone call. No phone call, no issues. If GG wanted to find out who stole the shit, if Seaside was eventually the ones that were caught up, then we deal with it like how we naturally would.
Yeah, y'all would have said it was y'all. Same way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said to JJ too on the phone. I spoke to him briefly, and I'm like, "Listen, I hate having to do all this shit. I'd rather, if I have to shoot anybody from you guys, it'd be better be over a goddamn good reason. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad we came to this. I think it's ideal.
Yeah. I'm just happy that the handguns don't work like before. I don't know if I see Jack, to be honest.
Or Dragunov,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going away into the island for a little bit. So if Marty wants to have another conversation just to solidify anything, I'm open to it. But no, it's unfortunate that this happened. And I understand that, if some of you still unhappy and shit, hopefully time fixes that in a little bit,